Alright guys, a couple of months ago as I've been organizing the studio, getting it ready for all you guys, in a couple months we'll be doing that video, I ran across a fragrance that I used to speak a lot about on the previous channel from a house that doesn't get spoken a lot about. Mauboussin, a jewelry house from France that also does fragrances, perfumes. The fragrance I used to really speak a lot about on the old channel is M Generation, this one right here. This fragrance was a woody incense fragrance that was really good, and when I first discovered it, I probably bought it around $30–40 at the discounter. It's a great discovery, a great find that I actually spoke a lot about. All of a sudden, a couple of years later, it was very hard to find this, and it got discontinued. Obviously, that's why it was hard to find. So I wanted to kind of circle back and see what fragrances Mauboussin has launched, and I discovered this very complicated named one, Unhistoired de Homme Irresistible, and I believe it stands for an irresistible man. This is it right here. $30 is what I bought it for. Currently it's $31, and I'm impressed with how great the quality of this fragrance, and it's an amazing find for me to wear this summer as a green woody fragrance. So a great find here I'm going to speak to you about. It's Unhistoired de Homme Irresistible. Plus I'm going to speak to you about Mauboussin's Ombre, this one right here, created by Alberto Moraes, and then also this one, Private Club from Mauboussin. So all three of them I bought thinking I'm going to find and get really great fragrances. 2 out of the 3 turned out to be really great. One is okay, kind of disappointing. But I'll let you know all about these 3 fragrances. But today it's mostly a review for Unhistoired de Homme Irresistible because I find it to be a great scent, and you can currently buy it for about $31 on FragranceNet. So if you want to find out about this and the other 2 fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, today I'm talking about Unhistoired de Homme Irresistible. That's what it says right here. On this side, it's Mauboussin. It's a jewelry house from France. They do launch fragrances. In fact, Mauboussin has a separate fragrances website that you can go and check out their fragrances. Sadly, it was in French, and I didn't really take the time to see if it was translated into English. But this was listed there, and I actually ended up buying all 3 of these from Walmart.com, but currently, when I got this, I was wearing it around a friend, and the friend really liked it, and I really liked it, and he wanted a bottle, so I ended up buying all remaining 5 bottles of Unhistoired de Homme Irresistible. So there's no longer any available at Walmart.com, but currently it is selling at FragranceNet for $31. But this is, you know, mostly about this fragrance here. I can't believe how great it is and how I had missed it for about 4 years. It's been launched in 2017. But I am also going to speak about the original Ombre from 2003, I believe. And then this Private Club that a lot of people speak very highly about. But either way, I'll get to those fragrances. But before I do, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. How many of you has a bottle of M Generation, this one right here? Sadly, my bottle's getting a little scuffed up. I don't have the box. I should find something to put it in so it doesn't get scuffed up. And there's still juice in here. You can see it, but that fragrance is no longer, it's discontinued. But I bought all 3 of these for around $60 from Walmart.com. But as I said, as soon as I got this, I wore it around a friend. They really liked it, so I went and bought the remaining 5 of these. And now you can get it from FragranceNet for $31. This one from Fragrance X for around $25. And then this one from Walmart again for about $30-some. So I have links in the info box. You can use those links to get these fragrances. But let me tell you about this one. This is Unhistoired Homme Irresistible. They have a men's version and a woman's version. I obviously have the men's version here. $31 currently at FragranceNet. I would call this a woody aromatic or aromatic woody green. It's a very green fragrance, and it's created by Karine Dubreuil. I think that's how you say her name. And I had to look up her name because I've seen her name come up in fragrances, and I remembered Gucci Pour Homme 2, and sure enough, she created Gucci Pour Homme 2, which I've spoken a lot about on the channel. She's also created Lalique Ombre Noire, which I also have spoken on the channel. Plus she's created Molton Brown's Bizarre Brandy. So all these fragrances she's created a lot more, but these are the ones I've spoken about on the channel. And I can see the quality work she's done here. It's really, really a great fragrance for me. It's a perfect fragrance to wear in the summertime. But the notes here are, on top you've got fig leaf and Italian bergamot. Heart notes features sandalwood. Base notes features cedarwood. So those are the only notes that the Mauboussin Fragrances website credits, and I get that pretty much. But in addition to the fig leaf note, I do get some fruits. There is some fruity sweetness here as well, but that's mostly it for me. It's a very, very woody experience, but a fresh woody experience, and also very, very green. The green fig leaf note is really, really prominent, but here it's not necessarily as bitter as other green fig leaf note fragrances. There is a sweetness about it that I really like, that balances out the bitterness of that green fig leaf. It's a great, great scent, the way it smells, and it wears really great as well. It doesn't wear overly strong. That's kind of a disappointing thing about this fragrance, but it is, after all, I think, a fresh fragrance that you can liberally wear during the summer months, and you won't really turn off people, because, as I said, people did react very positively with this fragrance. In fact, I really liked it so much I ended up buying the last 5 bottles, and I paid $29 for this, 29 something at Walmart. As I said, it's no longer there, but it is currently at FragranceNet for $31. But this bottle is not a 100 ml bottle, it's a 90 ml bottle, so you're not getting a full 100 ml juice, but for $31 I think it's a great, great value. It's a great value, and wears perfectly when it's even hotter and more humid. The fragrance is even better on me than when it's cold, because it doesn't bloom as much. The fig leaf and the fruitiness doesn't come through too much. But as soon as you spray the fragrance, it's all green fig leaves, and then Italian bergamot. Like, the bergamot is really, really prominent here. It's a nice balance of the juicy bergamot with the fig leaves. And then as the fragrance is developing, it gets woodier and woodier. But then also the fruits develop. Like, I get fruity sweetness in here along with the fig leaf. And that's pretty much all that's going on. It's overly woody. You've got to like woody fragrances. And it's also overly green. It's fresh. It's very, very fresh and citrusy. Light powdery touches come into this fragrance as well, lightly powdery, and of course, as I said, fruity as well. There are some also light aromatic touches that come in, and I believe I'm getting that from the fig leaves note. I don't smell any kind of like herbal notes or anything like that, but overall it's a very, very pleasant fragrance, and it's a bang for your buck kind of fragrance. I think it's perfect. And if you like fig fragrances and green fragrances, of course, woody, fresh fragrances, definitely give this one a try. I highly, highly recommend it. And for the price, I would say this actually smells more unique to me than a lot of men's designer fragrances. That's what I like about it, because I don't really see fig leaves pop up in men's fragrances. I'm going to speak about one of the fragrances here now in a little bit that smells like a very generic, everyday men's designer release from the big designers kind of a fragrance. But this, I felt like it's a very, very unique smell for what you get for a men's designer fragrance currently. So it's a unique smell, doesn't smell like other men's designer fragrances. That's what I like about it. Plus, I'm obsessed with green fragrances and fresh fragrances and fig leaves and things like that. So this is definitely a solid fragrance. It's called Unhistoired Homme Irresistible. I guess it translates to an irresistible man, or the history of an irresistible man, something like that. But either way, complicated name, but a great fragrance. Check it out, Mauboussin Unhistoired Homme Irresistible, a 2017 launch. I'm actually very, very curious to check out the female counterpart of this fragrance now. I'm so happy with the quality of this one. I want to see what they've done with the woman's version of this fragrance. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that fragrance. two more fragrances from Mauboussin. I'm actually going to go with the oldest of the three, which came out in 2003, created by Alberto Morillas. This is Mauboussin Homme. This is currently selling at Fragrance X for $23, and I do have a link in the info box. That's a great, great price for this. If you like amber fougères or like warm fougères, I think this is definitely a solid release. Again, Alberto Morillas is a master perfumer. He's created a lot of great fragrances, and he created this in 2003, and to this day it still smells great. To me, this fragrance also is a little more stronger than the Unhistoired Homme Irresistible. I just feel like there are warmer notes in here to make it last a little longer for me. But what you get with this one, for the top notes, you get lots of lavender. It's a lavender bomb, but then in the heart notes you get vanilla, and then the base notes you get patchouli. A really, really great combination. You know, I love patchouli, I love vanilla, and then of course I enjoy lavender. The combination is great. It's like a barbershop, a warm barbershop fragrance experience. But then again, to me, this smells more like not like a typical fougère barbershop. It's more of like a Karine pour un homme style of barbershop. I don't even know if I can call that a barbershop fragrance, because it's a warm, ambery, musky lavender fragrance. I think this would fall or fit in that line more like something like Houbigant's Fougère Royale. But it's really, really a great scent. Lavender really, really comes through. It smells like authentic lavender. I should also say, if you like fragrances like Lavande from Molinard, or even Lavender Extreme from Tom Ford, I think you would like this one, because there's all those warm and patchouli-esque touches in this fragrance. Although the patchouli is a little more prominent here than Lavender Extreme and Molinard's Lavande, but I think it's kind of in that line of a lavender fragrance with warm notes. But, you know, I would call it a fougère, because that's what it is, but it acts more like Karine pour un homme lavender fragrance, or Lavender Extreme from Tom Ford and Molinard Lavande, rather than like Tom Ford Beau de Jour or you know, Fougère Royale and things like that. But a great, great scent. It's very, very aromatic and earthy. There's woodsy touches here, but very, very warm and ambery as well. Sweetness does come through. Very, very sweet. It's warm, spicy, and herbal. It almost smells like a very warm, spicy lavender soap. If you like the idea of something like that, I recommend this one a lot. The only problem I have with the bottles is these caps are either on and off really quickly, or they get stuck and they don't come off. So they seem a little cheap, but I recommend this one for the lavender lover for sure. This probably is a little too warm for summer wear. Perfect for fall, I think. Perfect. I think it would be great for fall and winter wear, because it does have a lot of vanilla in it to make the fragrance extremely warm. So, Mauboussin Homme, $23 on Fragrance X. That's a great, great price. This, on the other hand, is a 100 ml bottle. This is a 90 ml bottle, as I said. Here's the box for this one, and this is the box for the Pour Homme. Now on to the third fragrance. Initially, I was going to speak about this one as the second fragrance, but I left it till the end because this is my least favorite of the bunch. And normally I mention in my videos that I don't really read reviews. I did read reviews for this particular fragrance because I've had my eyes on this fragrance for a while. I wasn't able to buy it. It was only available in Europe for a while, European discounters, and I didn't want to pay an arm and a leg to get this one until obviously I saw it at the discounters here in the States, and I bought it. But thankfully I didn't pay an arm and a leg for shipping and buying it from international, because I don't really care for this fragrance whatsoever. I think it smells like every other men's designer fragrances that's like popular, like YSLs and, you know, Pradas, and maybe not Pradas, Valentino for sure, things like that. Is that kind of like very, very similar amber, woody, spicy kind of experience that has the aquatic kind of touches under there. That kind of like just doesn't do it for me. And the other thing about this one is lightly reminds me of something like Azzaro Wanted by Night. That's what it kind of reminds me of, because it's loads of cinnamon here, and Wanted by Night has cinnamon. They're not identical. It just really kind of hints at it. But this one's currently at Walmart for $33. It is a cheap price. If you like the idea, I think you should check it out. I would call this an amber woody fragrance. It came out in 2018, so it came out 1 year after this one. And of course, this one came out in 2003. This is from the early 2000s. This is somewhat one of the later ones. There is a new one that I saw with a green bottle. I wasn't able to get that one. I'm going to check into that one as well. But these are the three I'm talking about today. This is created by a perfumer by the name of Alexandra Carlin. I don't really know much about her, but I don't really care for this one. I'll let you know what it's all about though. For notes, we've got bergamot with fresh spices, which include black pepper, cardamom, and coriander. Heart notes include cinnamon, which is a warm spice. Finally, in the base notes, it's amber. As I said, this one has similarities to a lot of other very popular designer fragrances. Bad Boy from Carolina Herrera, Valentino's Roma or Born in Roma or whatever. All these fragrances, even the Wanted and Wanted by Night fragrance, they all have these kind of like amber, woody, aquatic kind of combination notes. That's just a very, very disappointing kind of an experience. Although it does get better once you wear it. I just don't like what I'm going through up top and heart to get to what it is, you know, in the base notes. So it's an instant pass for me. And as I said earlier, I'm so glad I didn't pay an arm and a leg to get this shipped to me about 2 years ago when I first heard about it, because it's definitely not worth it for me. I mean, $33, yeah. Most likely I will sell this or just keep it in the studio to show some clients that come in that want to smell fragrances. But anyway, you guys might like it. It's called Private Club. I don't enjoy it. I think the other two are much better, much, much better. I think Mauboussins Pour Homme is great, and this is just amazing for what you get. So different than any other designer fragrances. I'm just really, really happy with this one. I think it's a very, very fresh green fragrance that I can't get enough of the smell. I wish it was a little longer lasting. It is not the best longevity, but I think if you spray a little more than normal, I think you'll be fine, especially during the hot months. I think it's a great fragrance. Or even in the winter time, if you're not into loud fragrances and you want something a little more unique, not like blending in with every other person that wears anything that's at the Macy's fragrance counter, I think you'd totally stand out with this one. And then again, with this one, for fall and winter, I think it'll be perfect. If you like lavender fragrances like Tom Ford's Lavender Extreme or Lavande from Molinard or even Pour Homme de Caron, it's that kind of fougere rather than Beau de Jour and, Fougere Royale. Anyway, those are my thoughts on these three Mauboussin fragrances. I highly recommend it. Go check this one out. I don't think it'll break your bank, $31. And both of these I think are really, really great because this one's even cheaper. And I have links in the info box. But let me know your thoughts on Mauboussin fragrances. Are you familiar with them? Are you familiar with M Generation? Do you have a bottle of it? Did you ever wear it? And I want to find out and hear what you guys think about that fragrance. Because at one point I really loved that fragrance and I got really, really disappointed when it was discontinued. But let me know if you're a fan of this house. Did you know about it? Do you know that it's a jewelry house from France? And which fragrances you own from them? And from watching this video, do you like the sound of this one or this one? Or maybe you like the sound of this one? Let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. Either way, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.